Hello, today we will be reading the story Amazing Grace by Mary Hoffman and illustrated by Caroline Finch. Our objective today is I can recall important details about Grace after the story is read. Our vocabulary words today are audition, to give a short performance in order to show that you are suitable for a part in a movie, play, or show, and amazing. Amazing to describe something that is so good it surprises you. Amazing is even in the title of our book. So remember, when you hear these words, you're going to put your finger on your nose. Amazing Grace. On the back it says, charming, energetic, amazing Grace. Always lets her talents shine. So how is she like somebody you might know? I want you to think about that. And in this book, some children tell Grace that she cannot do something she really wants to do. Let's find out to see what happens and if Grace does it. So, in the objective, I said that we are going to recall important details about Grace after the story is read. So, I want you to think about some of those describing words to describe Grace. So, already on the back, we have charming, energetic, and amazing. I want, after reading and throughout the story, you to think of some other words to describe Grace. Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace by Mary Hoffman, illustrated by Caroline Finch. Grace went into battle as Joan of Arc and wove a wicked web as Anansi the spider. She hid inside the wooden horse at the gates of Troy. She went exploring for lost kingdoms. She sailed the 7 seas with a peg leg and a parrot. She was Aladdin rubbing his magic lamp to make the genie appear. And Mowgli in the backyard jungle. Most of all, Grace loved to act out adventure stories and fairy tales. When there was no one else around, Grace played all the parts herself. She set out to seek her fortune with no companion but her trusty cat and found a city with streets paved in gold. There's her cat following behind. Sometimes she could get Ma and Nana to join in when they weren't too busy. Then she was a Dr. Grace, and their lives were in her hands. One day, Grace's teachers said they would do the play Peter Pan. Grace knew who she wanted to be. When she raised her hand, Raj said, "You can't be Peter. That's a boy's name." But Grace kept her hand up. "You can't be Peter Pan," whispered Natalie. "He isn't black." But Grace kept her hand up. "All right," said the teacher. "Lots of you want to be Peter Pan. So we'll have to have auditions next week to choose parts." She gave them words to learn. So right here we see that some of her classmates are telling her that she can't do it, but she still wants to. So what do you think? Do you think she's still going to audition? Let's find out. When Grace got home, she seemed sad. "What's the matter?" asked Ma. "Raj said I couldn't be Peter Pan because I'm a girl." "That just shows what Raj knows," said Ma. "A girl can be Peter Pan if she wants to." Grace cheered up, and then later she remembered something else. "Natalie says I can't be Peter Pan because I'm black," she said. Ma looked angry. But before she could speak, Nana said, "It seems Natalie is another one who don't know nothing. You can be anything you want, Grace, if you put your mind to it." On Saturday, Nana told Grace they were going out in the afternoon. They caught a bus and a train into town. Nana took Grace to a grand theater. The sign outside read, Rosalie Wilkins in Romeo and Juliet in sparkling lights. Are we going to the ballet, Nana? Asked Grace. We are, honey. But first, I want you to look at this picture. Look at the picture right here. Grace looked up and saw a beautiful young ballerina in a tutu. Above the dancer it said, Stunning New Juliet. That one is little Rosalie from back home in Trinidad, said Nana. Her granny and me, we grew up together on the island. She's always asking me, do I want tickets to see her Rosalie dance? So this time I said yes. After the ballet, Grace played the part of Juliet, dancing around her room in her imaginary tutu. I can be anything I want, she thought. Look at her. She's looking so happy thinking about how she can be anything that she wants. On Monday, the class met for auditions to choose who was best for each part. When it was Grace's turn to be Peter Pan, she knew exactly what to do and all the words to say. She had been Peter Pan all weekend. She took a deep breath and imagined herself flying. When it was time to vote, the class chose Raj to be Captain Hook and Natalie to be Wendy. There was no doubt who would be Peter Pan. Everyone voted for Grace. You are fantastic, whispered Natalie. The play was a big success, and Grace was an amazing Peter Pan. After all, it was all over. She said, I feel as if I could fly all the way home. You probably could, said Ma. Yes, said Nana. If Grace put her mind to it, she can do anything she wants. There's Grace right there at the end. So she did not listen to those boys and girls in her class that said she couldn't do it. She tried it anyway, and she was able to become Peter Pan. She worked really hard at it. So throughout that story, you learned a lot about Grace and what type of person she is. So we are going to be talking about acrostic poems today. So an acrostic poem is... You will be using the letters, and we're going to be talking about names today. So, for Grace, her name is G-R-A-C-E. Grace. But I put the words a little bit different. Instead of spelling Grace like this, putting the words all next to each other, I put them on top of each other, down like this. That is because in acrostic poem, you are going to take a word, and each letter is going to represent a different word of your name to describe you. So we're going to be working with your name after we talk about Grace's name. So you have to think about Grace, what type of person she was. And each letter of her name is a different describing word to describe Grace. So for G, she was great. She was great. She could do anything she put her mind to. For R, what's a good R word to describe Grace? I'm going to say radiant. She is radiant. She was a star in that play, and she was so confident because she put her mind to it. A. For A, I'm going to put amazing. That's right there in the title. So we know that is a describing word to describe Grace. She is amazing. On the back right here, too, it said she was charming. Charming would be a great describing word to describe Grace. And last, E. On the back, too, E, they described her as energetic. That is a describing word that starts with E and also describes Grace. So I'm going to say energetic. Energetic. Now you're going to do the same thing with the letters in your name describing you. What are some describing words with the letters of your name that can be used to describe you? I can't wait to see your acrostic poems. You're going to do a great job. Goodbye.